This week in WestfordCAT news, the Farmers Market is back in business. The Board of Health issued a variance for a new tenant on Lyberty Way.
A standard operating procedure for food operation must be developed. All utensils and food containers must be disposable and cleaned off site every day. That's cleaned off site. They need to be taken away.
And a district court judge overruled selectmen on the matter of dangerous dogs. It's time for WestfordCAT news. I'm Nancy Burns, a WestfordCAT board member. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you to sign up for our email alerts to get our latest Westford news articles. Just visit westfordcatnews.org and click on the red subscribe button in the upper right corner. After a year's hiatus, the Farmers Market is back in Westford, receiving high praise from vendor Mohammed Gobashi of Kebab House.
It's good to be back in the Westford Farmers Market. We miss all of your community. We miss all the people from all around us, from the library people, the town hall, the fire department, police department, and all over the town hall. We have a terrific time to see all of them. Become to be like a family-oriented operation in here. And we're glad to looking forward to see it every year to come over for Westford Farmers Market.
The town common was transformed into a makeshift restaurant, grocery store, and shopping boutique on July 9th. Everything Alpaca of New Hampshire was there. A local winery brought a variety of wines to sell. Artisan dried pasta and breads were available, along with bottled tomato sauce, cookies, and produce from Farmer Dave's. The highway department brought a dump truck and front-end loader for kids to play on, and hula hoopers kept things turning. String players performed in the bandstand, and shaved ice kept everyone cool. The market meets every Tuesday through August 27th from 2:30 to 6:30 p.m. Behind closed doors, on July 9th, selectmen decided to reopen a public hearing regarding a district court ruling that rescinded the Westford Board of Selectmen's notice of decision and order and notice of violation. The notices required the euthanasia of a pit bull mix named Luca and a Labrador mix named Windy. The dogs are owned by Haley Gallagher of 10 Wilson Farm Road. Gallagher defied a May 2nd ruling by selectmen to deliver the dogs by May 3rd to a Westford animal control officer. The plan called for a hired expert to observe the dogs for 2 weeks and make a recommendation about their fate based on their behavior. Instead, a friend of Gallagher said he brought the dogs to a home in New Bedford. The dogs allegedly escaped from the New Bedford home. Their whereabouts remain unknown, according to town manager Jody Ross. In her June 21st ruling, Judge Margaret Guzman of Ayer District Court rescinded the selectmen's ruling, saying the hearing failed to establish sufficient support for the order for euthanasia. Guzman said the board reacted strongly to the neighbors' impassioned complaints and should have relied more on facts. Here's Selectman Chairman Elizabeth Almeida.
All right, so we are going to take one item out of order on the agenda right from the beginning. We have our attorney Greg Corbo here with us. We're looking at under old new business item number 2 to consider whether to file an appeal to the Middlesex Superior Court regarding the ruling made by the Ayer District Court to rescind the Westford Board of Selectmen's notice of decision and order number 1 and notice of violation number 2, which required the euthanasia of the dogs known as Windy and Luca, owned by Haley Gallagher of 10 Wilson Farm Road. The selectmen discussed this in executive session, and we decided to reopen the hearing to consider the dogs as nuisance or dangerous dogs, and we will do that on July 23rd, and we will be notifying abutters this week.
To watch the entire selectmen's meeting, visit westfordcat.org. A protracted discussion on whether to approve a variance in the placement of grease traps at 5 Lyberty Way ended with a unanimous vote of approval by the Board of Health members on July 8th. The request was to allow an incoming adult daycare facility to forgo the installation of an external grease trap since little to no food will be prepared on site. As an emergency backup, the new tenant sought to win approval for an indoor grease trap. Prior to the vote, Health Director Jeff Stevens outlined a number of requirements for the business owners to follow. Here's Stevens.
I've got a list of things that I kind of put together with some input from Arnie and the rest of the department, and I kind of put it together today on stuff that we'd want to kind of see if the board decided to go this way. So what they would be is the operator must provide a qualified food vendor with a typical weekly menu to the health department. No food shall be prepared on site as part of the meal program. A standard operating procedure for food operation must be developed. All utensils and food containers must be disposable and cleaned off site every day. That's cleaned off site. They need to be taken away. 3-tub sink for washing and rinsing and sanitizing equipment is not directly associated with the transport of food, and it's for occasional warewashing. It's not part of the meal program. To provide a contract with an interior grease trap to be cleaned every 30 days and provide the department with cleaning results, i.e. how many pounds of grease are cleaned out every 30 days. And if that number turned out to be really insignificant, we could make it every 60 days or whatever made more sense, or more. But 30 days is a good start.
Board member Michelle Petoniak Crawford was absent from the meeting. Watch the entire Board of Health meeting at WestfordCAT.org. Teens Molly and Morgan Smith are turning heads among local golfers. Here's News Director Joyce Polino Crane with the Smith sisters.
I qualified for the men's cities it was the first weekend of June. I shot 79-77, which qualified me for the playoff for the last 2 spots. It was 3 people for 2 spots, and I parred the hole, so I got into the golf tournament. And so I played I was the first female to ever play in the cities, and I shot 83-78. I shot 84-78, 83. So yeah.
So for those of us who don't golf, what does that mean?
So I was 12 over the first day, which is like 12 bogeys, and then I birdied the first hole of the tournament, which was pretty cool. And then I was 78 at Long Meadow, which was 6 over, which that was pretty good. And then I was 83 at Mount Pleasant, and I had to play the men's tees, which is pretty far because I don't hit it that far. And so it was pretty cool. It was a really good experience.
Molly, so tell us what you've accomplished.
So last year I won the Women's Cities, which is a tournament locally. And unfortunately, for Morgan, I beat her by a shot, and it came down to the last hole. So it was a pretty fun experience for me. And then I recently, we played in the World Series of Junior Golf, which is like one of the biggest tournaments in New England, and it's an invitational. And I lost by a shot to 2 girls who are leaving for college in about a month. So
that's pretty amazing. How old are you?
I'm 14, so I was right with them. And then I made a bad double bogey on the 16th hole that kind of put me out of it. So I missed the playoff by 1, which was kind of disappointing, but it was a good experience.
WestfordCAT will keep an eye on these 2 young golfers and bring you updates. Bronx, a 5-year-old domestic short-hair cat hailing from New York City, is available now for adoption at the Lowell Humane Society. Here's WestfordCAT's production coordinator, Patty Stalker, with more.
Start spreading the news. He's leaving today. Well, actually back in April, 5-year-old Bronx came all the way from New York City, hoping to find his forever home right here in Massachusetts. Here's the Lowell Humane Society's marketing and fundraising manager, Crystal Arnott, with more.
Hi, so this is Bronx, and Bronx is a 5-year-old domestic shorthair who came to us back in April. It's taken him a few months to warm up to us. He originated in a shelter in New York, and he was brought to Massachusetts basically of people who drove him from New York to here to get him out of the shelter there. Unfortunately, he and his brother Hart, who's already since left the shelter, were very, very stressed and very nervous. They were taken immediately from the streets and into the shelter They weren't given any time to decompress, and they were very, very stressed and agitated. And when they made it to Massachusetts, they both were acting out very aggressively. The people that took them in did not feel like they could safely have them in their homes, so they brought them into the shelter. We recognized that they just were both very overwhelmed with all of the change in their lives and needed some time to settle down and get used to their surroundings. So Bronx has been with us since April. He has had himself a quiet space in our back room, allowing him all the time in the world that he needed to get used to us. And he has become a very, very sweet boy, very affectionate, and loves to headbutt and get pets. But he does need a family that will let him settle in very slowly in his new home. He will likely hide for the first couple of weeks when he gets to a new house. But once he feels safe and starts coming out, he's very sweet. He is playful and likes to play with toys, and he loves to be pet. He would do well in a home with another cat who is cat savvy. But because he is very nervous, we are recommending that adults only and cat savvy family would be best for him. He definitely does not like dogs. They scare him terribly, and he would be miserable in a home with dogs. So he is looking to either live with other cats or be the solo cat in the home with only adult members of the household.
If you think you'd like to provide Bronx with his forever home, or would like more information on donating to or volunteering at the Lowell Humane Society, visit them Tuesday through Sunday at 951 Broadway Street in Lowell, or go to lowellhumanesociety.org. Call 978-452-7781. You can also find them on Facebook. For WestfordCAT, I'm Patty Stalker.
Beautiful weather is hopefully boosting everyone's spirits this month. Let's see what weather.com has to say about the coming week.
I am Betsy Alvarez, a WestfordCAT board member, here with things to do around Westford. A songwriting trio calling themselves I'm With Her will perform at Boarding House Park in Lowell on Friday, July 19 at 7:30 p.m. Sarah Watkins, Sarah Jaraz, and Aoife O'Donovan have been singing together since 2014. The group is known for its use of language and ability to harmonize. Special guest Lo Lily will also perform. Tickets are $37 in advance and $45 on the day of the concert. Visit lowellsummermusic.org for more information. The Westford Museum will present a narrative performance in conversation on the Declaration of Independence on Sunday, July 21st from 2:30 to 4 p.m. The presentation will provide answers to what the Declaration means to citizens today versus when it was conceived. It will weave first-person accounts within the public reading of the document. Suggested donation is $5 per person and $10 per family. For more information, contact Linda Green at director@museum.westford.org. Boomers and wannabe boomers will go back in time to the 1969 Woodstock Exposition of Music and Art to celebrate the 50th anniversary on Tuesday, July 16 at 7 p.m. Harris will present rare recordings, archival videos, stories, group songs, and guided music making. Woodstock drew about 400,000 to Bethel, New York, where guitarist Jimi Hendrix and blues singer Janis Joplin were among the performers. The free program is for ages 14 and older. Register at westfordlibrary.org or call 978-399-2304. Back to you, Nancy.
That's it for now, Westford. Let's end by taking a look at your best 4th of July photos.